Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Monday edition of Today in Sports Betting. And as has been our tradition here for the last few weeks, we're going to do a little recap show, let you know how we did with our plays over the weekend, our NASCAR plays, our golf plays, and of course, our UFC 251 plays. I don't know that this is going to be our permanent format. Once we get games up and running, we'll probably be doing some previews for the games that are going to be played once Mondays come around. But for now, it's Recap Monday, so appreciate you joining us. Thanks very much for stopping by. As always, I'm joined by my co-host with the most, driving that right-hand chair, and sitting on the edge of his seat with another NASCAR finish. He is Scott Reichel. Scotty, how are you today?
Doing pretty well. Pretty profitable weekend, and don't really have many complaints with the exception of Cole Custer. But, I feel like one thing I noticed on Twitter was that it seemed like everybody got destroyed in NASCAR in the race yesterday. If you were looking at any of the recaps from people online, seems like a lot of people, shockingly, did not have Cole Custer at roughly 300-1 to win the NASCAR race. Who would have thought? I believe I had the first place driver, the third place driver, and the fourth place driver with 2 laps to go, and I finished losing money. So, that's never a fun time. But the race was crazy. It's a lot of fun. Luckily, UFC, soccer, and golf went well. So, overall, it was a pretty good weekend. And, yeah, hopefully it was the same for you.
Yeah, no, not bad. I had that was a kind of a brutal beat for me in NASCAR as well, as I had Martin Truex at 850-1 to win that race. And it looked like at the very end there with that last restart that he was going to be able to take care of business. And lo and behold, here comes Cole Custer on the outside and able to put him away there. So, it was not a great effort on my driver's part. Of course, I had 2 drivers that were already well sunk, finished in 21st and 22nd place. Props did okay. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But let's start with. I know you had some soccer plays from last week with our show with Valtis, and I had some EPL plays. How did those go, Scott?
Pretty well. I went 3-3 for positive 1.13 units. Really came down to yesterday. It was kind of a matter of me being hovering around profit, and then Mallorca ended up getting shut out like I predicted against Sevilla, and that was a nice, say about 0.8 or so profit, a little bit more than 0.8 profit there. So it ended up pushing me forward to a winning week. So, yeah, made over a unit there. Don't really have any complaints. As you know, I'm more into the long shot business, so I never really go for the actual record. I just go for the plus at the end. And, we got a bit of a plus there. So pretty good week in soccer.
Good. Yeah, I know that Mallorca is on their way to relegation, and they are not playing good soccer right now. Poor Valdes that he doesn't have he has to spend all of his time at the beach and not at the soccer stadium.
Well, shockingly, they actually did win a game last week. They beat Levante in the middle of the week, but Sevilla is a top 4 team in the league, and Mallorca's hovering around relegation. So, yeah, I'm not exactly shocked that Mallorca didn't get anything across yesterday.
Right. And then I know your big day was Saturday with UFC, and you ended up crushing a couple of wins there. I came out about 1 1/3 units down. I was doing pretty well until the last 2, and then missed on the last 2. So, Scott, tell us about the highlights of your UFC. I don't want to go through, each of the 13 fights, but give us the highlights, the ones that really paid some dividends for you.
Well, just for the overall recap, I went 6-2 for positive 6.27 units. My 2 losses came by a combined 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I had Jan by decision, and I'll tell you what, that referee definitely had money on Jan decision as well, because he was letting Aldo get his brains beaten in for about the last 2 minutes, which was completely unnecessary. Aldo just couldn't move, and Jan just keep punching him in the back of the head. Yep. So, it is what it is there. Not surprised Aldo ran out of gas.
I had that as well.
Yeah, and I had my boy Yuri beating up Uzdemir in the first round at plus 650. And, of course, he knocks him out 30 seconds into round 2. So,
and I actually had a winner on that. I had
you had the under.
I had the under 1.5 at a little extra money there.
So close to plus 650. So close. But other than that, I got everything else right. Yeah, not really much to break down. I skipped a couple of fights here and there. My main, I'd say, moment or my key moment there was the Usman fight because I had two plays on the main event. I had Usman by decision at plus 200, and I also had over 2.5 takedowns at plus 100. The takedowns cashed in the middle of the third round or so. I believe Usman ended up with around 5 takedowns, give or take. And Usman won in a very boring fight, as I predicted, by decision. So I made about 3 units in the Usman fight. Everything else, pretty standard. Very solid night overall on Saturday.
What was, in your opinion, what was the fight of the night, Scott?
The fight of the night for me, it was – the truth is that there weren't really many insane fights if you really want to break it down. You had a couple of entertaining ones. I told you going in, my whole card basically came down to a lot of fights going to decision and a lot of favorites winning. And lo and behold, a lot of favorites won by decision. So it really just worked out the way that I thought it would. Fight of the night for me, probably the Rose Andrade fight if I had to really pick one, just because the third round got really close and it was a split decision. The Volkanovski-Holloway fight was definitely the most controversial fight based on the judges' scorecards, according to the mainstream opinion. Truth is, did either fighter really impose that much damage to each other? I don't really think so. Volkanovski basically just only was successful with leg kicks and the occasional face punch. But I didn't really think anything was really – there weren't really any crazy moments in that fight. I think you'd agree with. The Rose Andrade fight was kind of nuts for the third round. That really got interesting.
Yeah, that was certainly one of the better fights that I've seen as Thug Rose actually took a beating there in the third round and was able to.
It was a good decision, though. I thought she won.
Get the decision. I think she won well. She won the first 2 rounds, and that was hard to overcome. I thought that was kind of controversial. Andrade giving her corner, giving her the advice that she was ahead 2-0, 2-zip, and
not the greatest advice there. Actually, the most controversial thing, I'll take it back. The most controversial thing that I saw last night wasn't even the Holloway decision. It was the Muslim decision against Dos Santos, I think.
Yeah.
That was a disgrace. I don't know who's the person who gave Muslim 30-27. He should be fired. That is an abysmal scorecard. That's one of the worst scorecards I've seen in the entire year. I've seen some worse ones, but that was really bad. I thought Dos Santos won the fight, if I'm being honest with you. I didn't even think Muslim won, and one judge gave him 30-27. I'm really confused what happened there. Same scenario, though, as what happened in the Andrade fight. Muslim's corner told him, oh, yeah, you're up 2-0. And then Muslim won the third round. I'm thinking, all right, so it's 29-28 Dos Santos. And one judge has 30-27. And I'm thinking to myself, Muslim's corner was right? What happened here? Because I thought there was no way that he won the first 2 rounds.
Right. I agree. That was definitely a head scratcher. But, man, anytime you come out plus 6 units after an evening of fun and frivolity, that's a good thing.
Yep.
And it was a good thing that they were able to pay for a little bit of your golf habit. How'd you do with golf?
I did well. I had that one prop on the first day. I had Koepka or Justin Thomas, no bogeys first round, plus 650, and Thomas had no bogeys. And then he proceeded to completely collapse on Sunday, which didn't affect me at all. So, it worked out, I guess. I ended up going 3-4 for positive 3.51 units. Pretty much all my props were decided on Friday, if I'm being honest. The only play I had left, because I knew the outrights had no chance, was Hovland to finish top 30. And Hovland finished in the top 5. So
right.
It was really just a sleep-free. It was a solid weekend in terms of the golf. I had a couple plays on some cuts, went 1-1, made some units on those, with Wolf at like plus 138 and Day. I had Wolf at plus 125 to miss the cut, and I had Day at plus 138 to miss the cut. I won one of the two, made a little bit of unit there. But overall, pretty good in golf. I got a rant for golf, but I'll let you recap your plays first.
Did well on my 3 props. Those all came in. I had a first day 3-way prop with taking Justin Thomas over Brooks Koepka and Jason Day. As you discussed, Koepka was awful. Jason Day, who had been awful pretty much the entire season.
He was good.
Put together a good tournament. He was actually finished, I believe, 3 under the first day, but Thomas was able to finish 4 under. So win that one for plus 125. I did have Joaquin Neiman over Graham McDowell for the tournament, paying a little juice there, and it was well worth the extra 45 cents as he won that one in a cakewalk. And I did have Patrick Cantlay minus 150 to make the top 20, and that happened. So we go up 3 1/4 on the props. Of course, we lose each of our outrights, as I had John Rahm, who played pretty well, finished 27th. Neiman finished 31st. And Justin Rose was just dreadful, just beyond dreadful. Did not make the cut. Didn't even have a sniff of making the cut. So we lose 3 units there. We go up 3 1/4. So we're up a quarter unit for golf. Okay, I'll take it.
It's better than nothing.
Well, I know. And if I was playing your way, playing just a quarter unit or half unit, I would have had a much more profitable weekend. But
truth is that as I get more and more comfortable with golf, I'll probably increase the unit size again. But until then, there's really just no point in throwing around extra money when I don't need to.
Yep. Good point. So basically, yeah, I'm breaking even for those 2 events up, just a tick. So
I truly have not recapped my entire golf. I'd assume I'm up, but I'll do the math and I'll get back to you on that.
We'll be waiting anxiously for that.
I doubt that, but I'll count it anyway, so it's fine.
All right. So then we move into NASCAR, buddy, and there is.
Well, I wanted to go into my golf rant really quickly.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Go ahead. I know you. It's kind of become a tradition. Scott has a weekly rant
about golf and the coverage. So my question for you.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a couple of questions here. Some of these are obvious, but I got to set the scene here. Can you tell me what year it is?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's 2020, although I have less confidence in that than I would any other year. But
okay. So my question for you is, it's 2020. When did tape delay die? Like 1995?
Yeah, pretty much.
So just to be clear, golf started for the main people at roughly, 10 o'clock, 10:30 yesterday.
Okay.
And there was a playoff going on yesterday between Morikawa and Justin Thomas, which turned out to be nuts. Apparently it was a 3-hole playoff. Thomas was up by 3 strokes with 3 holes left and then choked. And then Morikawa ended up getting the win. How are you showing golf on 7-hour tape delay in the middle of a playoff that's not on live television? What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't understand it. It's not like there's a lot of competition out there.
There's nothing. The Golf Channel was showing talk shows talking about the tournament, and then they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to start our coverage at 1 o'clock. And I'm thinking, okay, it's not ideal, but maybe I'll catch the back 9 on Morikawa and Thomas because those are the only 2 people who have a shot at actually winning the tournament. So they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to start coverage. They start the coverage. Yeah, we're here at hole 1. I'm thinking to myself, you're at hole 15. What are you doing? What else do you have to show? So they actually decided, you know what? People are going to love to watch everything 5 hours ago, and everyone's just going to sit through the tape delay. Because why wouldn't you? No, of course I'm not sitting through the tape delay. I can see all the information on the damn leaderboards online.
I sure hope I don't get 7 notifications on my phone about who just won the tournament.
It's like, hey, let me turn off the phone. Let me shut it down like I'm in a bunker and just watch this thing on tape delay. I don't know what the Golf Channel is doing. I don't know what the PGA Tour is doing with their coverage. I don't know how you have one golf tournament, besides the Pro-Am, which doesn't count, but you had some Pro-Am stuff over the weekend as well with Steph Curry and Mahomes and whatever. But for actual golf fans, how do you have a Golf Channel and not have live golf on Sunday for the entire day and then have the audacity to air the whole final round on 7-hour tape delay?
It makes absolutely zero.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my rant.
Well, they have almost no competition. They have NASCAR games. They got a little bit of MLS soccer that's starting back up. By the way, shout out to my Sporting KC crew who had a 1-0 lead against Minnesota and then got a red card against their goalie at the 77th minute and managed to give away 2 goals shorthanded in one. They gave away I think they gave away one in about the 88th minute, and they gave away the other one in stoppage time.
Well, I assume that if the goalie got thrown out, you probably had a penalty kick there, but I guess you didn't.
No, he was just outside the box.
Okay, because my guess was that usually it's a one-on-one and the goalie just dives at the guy's legs and they just call that a penalty. But okay, fair enough.
That's exactly what happened. But he was playing so far away from the goal that he managed to avoid the penalty kick. It was just a direct free kick, and that did not go in. But they just continued to put pressure on him, and Kansas City just couldn't clear the ball enough that they needed to late, and give away 2 goals to go down to defeat. So that was kind of a big thing for me. It's the first live action that I've seen involving one of my sporting teams here in Kansas City since the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. So,
well, sorry it wasn't that great of an experience for you.
Awful.
But yeah, soccer as a whole though, for the course of the weekend. Anyway, that was my golf rant. I feel like it was pretty standard. I still have no idea what the Golf Channel's doing. But anyway, for soccer, I saw the Red Bulls won 1-0 against Atlanta. I root for the Red Bulls. It's always fun when you score in the 4th minute and nobody scores for the last 96 minutes. It's kind of a fun time.
Reminds Americans why they hate soccer.
Correct. And you had a pretty big news this morning, which I posted on Twitter, which was Man City. They originally banned from the Champions League for 2 years, which was a huge deal because a lot of people were threatening to transfer out of there because they wouldn't compete in the Champions League for some cheating. And it got overturned. So Man City has to pay $10 million in some fines, but they will be able to compete in the Champions League for the next 2 years. So expect them to potentially bring in some high-profile free agents who want to win in the Champions League next year. So big news over there.
Can you tell us what that was about?
So Man City was accused of, long story short, cheating. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but they had some financial question marks on how they were, I don't want to say balancing their books, but there were some issues with regard to the finances of Man City. Okay. So they were claiming that Man City should be banned from the Champions League for these allegations and violations, etc. And originally it was agreed upon that Man City was going to be missing the Champions League for the next 2 years. However, they appealed, and the appeal was finalized today, and they ruled in Man City's favor. So they're going to be competing in the Champions League for the next 2 years. Still have to pay roughly $10 million in fines and stuff, but as a whole, pretty good day for Man City.
Cool. All right. Very good. And, okay, so rant over, soccer over. One thing left, and that is the surprise win there for Cole Custer in the NASCAR race. Scott, do you have a little sniff on Cole Custer?
No, he was apparently one of the only drivers who I didn't have a sniff on at the end. I told you I had 1, 3, and 4 with 2 laps to go, which was on pace for another insane week for me. That would have just been insane. That would have been ridiculous at that point. And then they ended up finishing 4, 5, and 9. So, happens. Harvick made a ridiculous move on one of the restarts to get me into first. I'm not really sure how he even got into first, if I'm being honest. That move was nuts. And then it was like, all right, I got Harvick at 1, and I also had Joe Gibbs to win, so I had Truex at 2. So I had 1, 2, 4, and 5 with 2 laps to go. And I think the guy in 6th won, I think. So,
you know what? And I shortchanged you, my friend. I had you as Kyle Busch and not Kurt Busch.
I had Kurt Busch. Yeah, I had the better Busch brother in that one.
I had you at 4.522. You were actually 4.59.
Yeah. I was 1, 3, and 4 with 2 laps to go.
That's going to give you 13 less points. And I'm going to do some quick refiguring here.
Oh, so when you told me the math yesterday, you thought I had Kyle Busch?
Correct.
That's all right. That means I'm up by a pretty decent amount at this point.
Correct. So, yeah, that is the big news for the Winners and Whiners Cup is you have taken a substantial lead on, both of us, but you've overtaken the lead from Winning Willie, 264 to 312. You made up 52 points yesterday, buddy.
Well, as much as I enjoy that, I would have preferred to make up an outright yesterday, but, happens. I would have rather preferred I can't say Busch really had a shot to win, but he was 31 to 1 or so. But Harvick at 7 to 1 was my best bet there in terms of the odds of winning. Because Keselowski, he had a good car. I would say he didn't have a great car, so I was aware that he probably was going to have enough to actually get it done. Same thing with Busch. Harvick was up, and then who was it? Nemechek bumped into the wall. Somebody crashed right after the restart. I know that Jimmy Johnson crashed after the restart, and then you had another restart after that, which I think was Nemechek who bumped into the wall. If there wasn't another restart, I'm winning that race. I think Harvick's going to get the job done if there's not a restart. And then, unfortunately there was, and Custer made the most of his opportunities. So
yeah, see, I was happy about that last restart. I thought that was going to give Truex the opportunity, the guy that pretty much had the best car all day long. And he got out in front. He got clear of Harvick, and lo and behold, here comes Cole Custer on the outside, and Bob's your uncle, and we go down to a defeat and take second place. So not good at all. My prop action came in pretty well. I had Truex over Elliott. I had Logano over Kozlowski. That did not work out, but I did have Ford being the winning car at the winning manufacturer at plus 130.
Well, the move I said, you had no Chevys in contention besides really Kurt Busch. That's pretty much it.
That's a bet that you're going to have to play till further notice.
That's what I was saying. I found that out, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't remember the last time Chevys won a race, and it seems like that's a common theme at this point.
Right. So we go up a third of a unit on those. And, I missed out on my drivers, which were Kyle Busch, who just was dreadful all day long.
You weren't a fan of him going to the pits with 10 laps to go?
Just awful. Eric Jones, never in contention all day. And then Truex, again, who had the best car, did not win. And I actually picked up room on Willie because Willie had Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace.
I didn't even notice Bubba. Did he crash in like the first 20 laps or something?
Nah, he just didn't run well. Just didn't have his car in place. He finished 22nd, and 27th. Kozlowski finished 22nd. So tough day for winning Willie as he falls into second place, and actually let me get a little closer to him. So I'm pulled within 43 points of winning Willie. Unfortunately, you've taken a massive lead in the Winners and Winers Cup. So very good.
You got to maintain it. But, I feel like the people at home would rather have me won a couple more plays as opposed to gaining 50-something spots. So we'll see. I'm
sure that's true. So overall, how'd you do on NASCAR?
Oh, it was terrible. Just based on the outcomes, if I'm being honest. I went, what did it go? 1-6 for like negative 3.6. But with 2 laps to go, I was up maybe, 7 units. It was really bad. I'd say it was about maybe I keep varying on the numbers because I really didn't do the math because I really didn't bother. It was easily, I'd say, an 8-unit swing, maybe a 9-unit swing over the last 2 laps. If you want to go through the overall plays, I had a couple of plays that were basically just dead, which were unlucky as well. I had Ryan Newman over Austin Dillon, and that didn't look close. Austin Dillon crashes in the middle of a caution, and because it's in the middle of a caution, he's able to just right his car and just keep driving, which was ridiculous. I mean, Dillon spun out. I thought I had it in the bag. And it's like, oh, no, because it was in caution, Dillon gets like a free trip to the pits. I'm like, what is this? What are we doing here? But so that was unfortunate, even though it didn't look that close on paper. That was a little bit of a bad beat. I had Truex over Elliott, which won. I had Joe Gibbs Racing winning as my hedge for my 3 outrights, which lost in pretty brutal fashion. Newman over Dillon lost, I said before. I had Harvick and Kozlowski top Ford. Custer came out of nowhere and kicked my ass. So that's a 2.26 units flip there. The Gibbs Racing was also 2.6 units flip there. I had Harvick at 7-1 at 5.5 units. So that's also roughly a 4-unit swing there. It just wasn't good. So based on that, Custer not only just winning, but also being a Ford and not being in Joe Gibbs Racing basically kicked my ass. That's kind of what happened. But before the last 2 laps, I was up roughly, I'd say, 5 units. Instead, I finished roughly -4. So, it happens.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I've been running so hot in NASCAR. It was the only time that something like that happened. So I'm not really going to be too upset at it. So it is what it is.
So overall, how was your weekend with the 4 sports?
Good. I made roughly 7 units and change.
Damn fine weekend indeed. I think I was like right on. I haven't put them all together, but I think I was like right on even. So, it happens. We'll take that. We'll move on. We've got a couple of NASCAR races this week. We've got.
I don't think we're doing the All-Star race though.
Well, you might be surprised.
Okay, I guess breaking news. We might be
Well,
covering the NASCAR
we
All-Star.
had apparently Valdez has been called back to work to do his part-time bartender gig.
Okay.
So he is out for Tuesday.
Okay.
So we are looking for a
We're not because we have UFC card on Wednesday, but fair enough.
Are we so we are doing.
There's 2 UFC cards next week.
Oh, we got a UFC card Wednesday?
Yeah, so we're gonna do UFC on Tuesday.
Okay.
So just like that, we are not doing the All-Star race once again. Crazy times.
Righty, and then Wednesday we're doing golf again, of course.
Yep.
Thursday is
The weekend UFC.
The weekend UFC, and we still kind of up in
We're
the air.
talking about maybe doing horses on Friday, but we'll see about that. Yeah.
And then of course doing NASCAR
on Saturday.
Saturday, of course. And then the next week, Scott,
we might actually have some sports.
We've got baseball, buddy, starting on the 25th, which will be 2 weeks from Saturday.
Yep. Interesting times ahead.
So that'll be fun. Interesting times ahead.
It seems like we've made it through the eye of the storm. That's what it seems like so far. Hopefully there isn't a relapse of any kind, which we're both still skeptical of. But, at least it seems like some domestic sports are coming back. We're still basically behind every other country on the planet. But, it's better late than never, I guess.
I guess. We'll see. I'm worried about, 16,000 cases in Florida yesterday.
Doesn't help.
Doesn't help. We've set the all-time record, 7 of the last 11 days.
I think Guinness would be proud of us for the world record book. So we have something to, put our names in.
We're rewriting the book here in America, everybody.
And we had also Superstar tested positive earlier today, right before the show. Russell Westbrook tested positive for COVID. So we'll see how that works out. But, yeah, I know Chapman tested positive for the Yankees, I believe, over the weekend. I think it was over the weekend. So, yeah, you still have some names coming in who have gotten it. But as long as they make a full recovery at the end of the day, it could be a lot worse.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. They it's a situation where we're going to have to keep an eye on it, and they're going to have to figure out what they do when somebody tests positive, and if they remain asymptomatic. That's a good thing. NFL, they're still trying to work it out with the Players Association. Players want to be tested every day. The NFL
they should want to be tested every day. I mean, I don't know how that's even negotiable at this point.
Right. So far, the ownership inexplicably has held off on that. I mean, I guess it's just because you have so many more people that are involved. You probably got 100 people, give or take, on each NFL team's staff. So, it's going to be strange times indeed, my friend. Strange times indeed. We'll see what happens. We do have our fingers crossed.
Roughly three more weeks, and then you got NBA, NHL, baseball, and pretty much everything back. So, assuming there isn't any issues, of course, but roughly 3 weeks. That's all you got to get through at this point. You've gone through 4 months.
Let me ask you this, Scott, because I know the big controversy in America right now is, sending the kids back to school. You're a recent college graduate. How would you feel about going back to school right now?
The truth is I'm thrilled I graduated already. The idea of I know my school, Wisconsin, I've seen a lot of jokes on it on the internet, but it's kind of a serious issue. Would you pay the same amount of tuition if you could do everything online from home? Of course not. It's just, that's insane. I feel like if you're going to be doing studies the same way that a community college would do studies, but you're paying an extra, I don't know, $30-something thousand a semester,
right?
I would probably be irate. So thankfully, I have no kids who are in college right now, so I don't have to worry about it. But if I was in college right now, I would completely understand if my parents wanted to either take me out for a year or work something out on a local online college thing, because I understand money doesn't grow on trees, especially now that nobody's really working in my area. That's a potential disaster. And I think that not offering a discount of any kind to some of the, I'd say, parents or some of the students, however you want to phrase it, is a potentially serious issue.
Agreed. And I have my children my youngest are the same age that you are. They both graduated from college last year. But I do have a 7-year-old granddaughter who's getting ready to start the second grade. And I don't think we're going to send her. I don't see a path to victory there, man, where you sending a kid to school like that with and then bring her home to expose the rest of us. So I think we're going to be doing a little homeschooling.
I agree with that move personally. Of course, homeschooling takes a lot of effort and time, and if you're also going to be working some other jobs, it's a little bit difficult to do because some people hire teachers for that. But everything's accessible online. So if you really wanted to hire somebody to even do it, you could hire someone per hour on Zoom and just do something like that. So, there are a lot of other alternatives nowadays that weren't exactly available in your time or my time growing up. So that is something to keep in mind.
You're right. All right, buddy. Well, let's here's to another good week. Congratulations on a nice weekend. Like I said, I pushed and shoved, but you paid some bills. So way to go. And, Willie was very close to having a pretty fine day. In fact, in spite of the fact that his 3 picks went down, he had Almirola as top 5 at plus 400, which came really close to coming in. I think Almirola ended up finishing 8th or 9th after running near the top a lot of the day.
I know he won stage 1. I know he didn't finish 9th because that's where I believe Bush finished. So I think he might have finished 10th.
Kozlowski finished 9th.
Okay, Kozlowski finished 9th. All right, fair enough.
Almirola finished.
I wanted to say like 12th, but I don't know that for certain.
No, I finished 8th, man.
I finished 8th. Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, that was again really close to a very nice performance by Willie. He also had Tyler Reddick. What do you have? Tyler Reddick as a top Chevy at 1,800, and Tyler Reddick had a good day.
I don't know where he finished.
I think 10th. He had a top 10 finish.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, but you did have a couple of bow tie overachievers there in just one. Kurt Busch was the only one that beat him.
Yep.
So
not a good day for the Chevys.
No, not a good as
tradition at this point.
And I'm gonna fade Chevy until further notice.
I remember finding that a couple weeks ago, and I told you about it, and you were wondering about it, and then you realized, wait a second, the Chevys are actually terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
They're awful. I don't know what the problem is, but
and Chase Elliott, he was hot for what, 4 weeks maybe?
Yeah.
I don't think he's really done much the rest of the year.
No. You just don't have a lot of talent. Now that Jimmy Johnson.
I feel bad for Jimmy. He had a really good drive there, and then Kozlowski crashed into him on the restart for another restart. So he was top 3.
A little froggy on Twitter later.
Honestly, when you go through COVID, you come back and you're top 3 with 5 to go and get spun out on the restart, I'd probably be pissed too.
Yeah, said I wouldn't want to beat Brad Kozlowski on the next restart if I'm behind you.
Yep, fair enough.
All right, my friend. Well, fine day. Even though neither one of us had Cole Custer for a huge victory there, but
if I had Cole Custer, I might have retired for the next week or so. So
yeah, no kidding. Managed to eke out some wins there. So
I'm still not sure what the procedure is going to be for the next couple of weeks. I'm assuming that we're still going to be doing this show. But we're probably each going to get our own shows up and running again. So we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
But maybe I'll give the StatSalt channel the old Heimlich maneuver, the CPR, and we'll potentially bring that back to life. So we'll see what happens.
Bring me back to life, and I'll be looking forward to doing the Deep 3 again. And yeah, it's approaching normalcy. So normalcy. So we'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, we got one more week to get through, and then we'll
it's really 2 because what did you say? Baseball resumes on Saturday.
Saturday, right? Yeah. So that'll be just
Saturday. We're doing NASCAR anyway, so I guess that gives us a show on Friday. I'll tell you that much. But we'll worry about that when that comes. But yeah, we can talk about all fair if you want to do the All-Star NASCAR race. I'm kind of more interested in the UFC card, if I'm being honest. But
okay,
we'll see.
All right, bud. Well, that's appreciated as always. Thanks for sharing your victories with us, Scott. And hopefully some people were able to tail you there and hop on and get some victories of their own. That's kind of why we're here. So yeah, appreciate it, and appreciate everybody that stopped by and checked us out. Hope you guys had a good weekend as well. Like I said, we'll be firing it up this week with our our potpourri of different sports to bet on. So until then, I am Scott Steen. He is Scott Reichel. You can check out winnersandwhiners.com or sister site statsalt.com. All the great information about the latest trends, latest things to bet on, and everything to give you an advantage in the sports betting world. So for both of us, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, this is Today in Sports Betting. Thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget to drop us a comment. Let us know how you did. Let us know what you're doing for the week. And I always like to have the interaction from the viewers. So until tomorrow, you guys take care. Have a great day. Everybody stay safe out there. Enjoy this nice weather. Get out there and have some fun. We'll be back again, and we'll light this candle one more time tomorrow. All right? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.